Hello, Hiroja Shibe here with a nice little walk and talk talking about cryptocurrency. And what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm not going to talk about the price. I'm not going to talk about BitConnect or Tether. There's plenty of videos and people talking about that out there. I thought we should talk about some of what's going on in the news and a little bit of analysis. Other stuff that I think people are just kind of missing. So, first off, a little bit of good news. So Square, which is the payment service platform, you should say, which has allowed Bitcoin to be purchased and utilized through their Cash App, made a nice little like kind of kids tutorial about what Bitcoin is. I found it very fascinating. There's a link in the show notes to it, but we need some of that kind of like grade A material when it comes to giving people a basic understanding and introduction of Bitcoin. While there's a lot of tutorials, 101s, some great talks, I think there's not enough really baseline, basic stuff that instantly people can understand what it is you're talking about. There's a few out there, but we need more of that, and we also need it in many languages, using many different types of voices and styles so that people can have an understanding of this new economic platform. Pineapple Fund just donated 91.5 Bitcoin to the Free Software Foundation. Congratulations to that foundation. Another giveaway or endeavor on the part of Pineapple, or Pine if you will, to change the dynamic, change the landscape. Put your money where your mouth is. These different types of causes and programs and events that the fund is giving to is going to have a strong ripple and lasting effect. And I would think not only the demonstration of this fund and what it is they're doing, but I imagine by the end of this tax season, you're going to start seeing more of that. You're going to start seeing more people taking their gains and putting it to good use. And there's always that first mover, there's always that first person out there. And I think the Pineapple Fund, when it comes to this, is another great means of demonstrating how you can use this new economic platform to do well, to do some good. So let's get into some of this news that's been going on. A lot of it. We're January 31st, okay? So we're only 31 days in 2018. And there's a lot of nonsense going on. And a lot of it has to do with a number of big corporate entities and platforms and financial institutions speaking seriously, not offhand, not some like VP or some secondary person within the company thinking that, maybe this might be something their company will do. It's coming from the direct heads of these organizations, talking about Bitcoin, talking about cryptocurrency, talking about blockchain. So first off, kind of continue the good news, Samsung. So Samsung is getting into the ASIC chip manufacturing, and thank God, we need more competition. Now my understanding, Bitmain is ordering quite a bit from Samsung, which makes sense, but we needed another platform, someone besides Bitmain, ordering, producing these chips. There's rumors about a couple other companies, but they haven't really come to fruition. Samsung put out a media platform, got very serious, got into the details about it. It is something that they're doing, and it's necessary for this space that we have more competition. I personally like to see a more open source hardware. I know that is still a very nascent field. I know 3D printing has come a long way, and that has more to do with maybe like the outer mechanics or shells of devices or machines, and not necessarily completely inner parts, but that is coming. You're going to start seeing, the first like chip, computer chip that is built from a 3D printer or built at home. But it's going to take time. A lot of the material is a bit expensive, but a lot of material is also toxic, so you have to worry about the environmental factors, even for a small lab or a mechanical shop, storing it, disposing it properly. There's a lot that has to go into it, but I think maybe this year you might start seeing some of that. But for now, we have Samsung. Hopefully Nvidia and AMD and some of these other graphic card companies will get on with it and stop crying about cryptocurrency sucking up their supply and giving them money for their graphic cards, and get into ASIC, actually being serious about manufacturing ASIC chips. Should have done it 3 years ago when this was really a thing, when it first started coming out. Then you have been the first mover. You've been the big dog in the playfield, if you will. But it's going to look like it's going to be Samsung, and Samsung is going to pretty much be the lead maker and blow everybody out of the water, and I'm looking forward to it. So there's some of that good news. So let's talk about some of these corporate heads talking about cryptocurrency and about the wave of the future. You've had Mark Zuckerberg talk about it, Facebook, which started the whole rumor about Litecoin may be integrated into Facebook. You have the head of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, saying that Bitcoin is the wave of the future. You have Howard Schultz, I think is his last name, saying that Starbucks is going to add cryptocurrency, but not Bitcoin, using a third-party system instead of directly accepting Bitcoin, which everyone knows is a big mistake, and maybe they'll correct themselves before implementation, but they're going to have to learn, I guess. And who else? There was another company, but this started getting my ears red, particularly with some of this other news on the government end. You have South Korea that's not banning cryptocurrency, but they're going to regulate it. This is pretty much what the United States has done with the exchanges, what other countries are doing. Regulations here is coming. It's slowly moving like a wave across the globe, if you will, with these exchanges. That's why decentralized exchanges are on the rise, and those OTC platforms are starting to increase usage, at least. But it made my ears start, and it made me think about like middle school, where people started like, maybe because I'm a woman, even though men do the same thing, where you have this like mean girl playbook where they talk up somebody they don't like in a positive manner just so they can turn around and tear them down. And it seems like a lot of this positive news of all these different kind of corporations talking in a much stronger manner about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrency, about blockchain, that they are serious about the implementation, serious about using it. Makes me think that it's almost like a setup, like a dog pile, if you will. Like everyone's piling on for the kill, if you will. And this is something that we kind of wanted in this space, but I'm not sure if it's really necessary. I've spoken about some of this before, about porting old systems, old concepts into the cryptocurrency space. Like, for example, the ETFs, futures trading. Why are we going to use, in essence, a system that's basically built upon fractional reserve systems into a cryptocurrency space that's not based on that concept? It's not going to work. And the futures market kind of has demonstrated that to some extent. I guess you can say it's going to take time. It's only been up for 30 days, so we'll see how a year out what the future markets really look like. And then you have, the ETFs. They're trying to get these ETFs up and going, and other different types of similar systems. And maybe it's not necessary for us to really have, a Starbucks. And, it's nice and great to get, a Starbucks coffee cup. I used to do that all the time with the Fold app for a while. Or you can get gift cards and stuff like that. But maybe it's better to build a business that accepts directly, or getting integration in much smaller businesses, much a smaller market than these great corporations, to use the system. Because it seems like, particularly with Starbucks, because all these systems, Starbucks, Twitter, Facebook, they have to use Visa, MasterCard, American Express, the current financial banking system in order to receive funds and money. They have no control over that. They can't say yay or nay to that. They have to operate within that system. So if you're a big corporation like Facebook, Starbucks, and something like that, and you want to have a stronger say in the new economic platform, something that you can control, like similar to the fashion that for a long time eBay and PayPal, that type of relationship, then maybe you would go with like a secondary party and not directly with Bitcoin, which is something you cannot control. And that is my concern with some of these news stories of these corporations, is they're building systems that are centralized, blockchain payment platforms, and they might try to make it so that is the only type of platform you can accept, and try to push out Bitcoin, because one of the primary uses of Bitcoin is currency. And if you can't use Bitcoin in some of these major, businesses, but you have to use, I don't know, Starbucks coin, that gets adopted, or Facebook coin, then, it's another fight vector, if you will, another battle to happen. And I don't know how we can hedge that off. But like I said, it seems like my ears started getting red, particularly with stuff like Kodak doing an ICO and possibly doing their own hardware mining device for their photo app thing, blockchain thing that they just released their white paper for. Haven't read it yet, but it'll be interesting to read and see exactly what it is they're trying to do. But who else? And then you have it coupled with, like I said, the South Korea stuff. But then you have Nigeria saying cryptocurrency is a scam, and a few other countries are like that. You have Venezuela trying to do the crypto dollar thing, and then you have Germany making statements saying that globally we need to come together to regulate Bitcoin as a global mechanism, if you will. And so you start seeing smaller, like, auxiliary financial institutions like the World Global Gold saying that Bitcoin's too volatile to be used as an asset, and other little financial stuff making little peeps about that, how you can regulate it on a global level, or why it needs to be regulated on a global level. The emphasis on many of the news outlets, financial news outlets, that Bitcoin's unstable because it's plummeted below 10,000. And just stuff like that, and the whole Tether situation. Again, it just made my ears just kind of get red and a little uncomfortable about all this news breaking out all at the same time. It seemed, I wouldn't say orchestrated, but it just seemed very, very strange. And it'd be interesting to see how this all plays out in the next coming months. The only thing I can think of is that we have to stay vigilant. We have to stay consistent. We have to head as much of this attention either by guiding it into the proper way that benefits everyone by having a decentralized cryptocurrency, or demonstrating consistently why these different platforms are going to fail and why it's not best to have your money invested in that system versus the system that nobody controls, which is Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum or any of the consistent decentralized cryptocurrencies. So that's it. That's my little walk and talk. I think we need to, the price is down. Yeah, this type of thing's going off. But I think we need to, look into the future. Lightning Network is coming online at a much rapid pace than anyone expected. You have, Ethereum and Dash with their alliances. Though Ethereum is a little wonky there. Getting some progress. Litecoin some progress. Things are moving along. Fairly shortly, we're going to have shortened signatures. We're going to have sharding. We're going to have all these other mechanisms that will make Bitcoin much easier to utilize. But this, all this takes time. It's not as instantaneous as we want. I think some of these new add-ons need to be explained a little bit better to the community so everyone has a full awareness and understanding. I thought I understood what Lightning Network was. Now I'm completely confused and have to go relook at everything. But like I said, we need to look to the horizon. We need to look in the future, but also be aware of our surroundings and all these chatty catties talking about us and wondering, why are they really talking about us? What really is it for them? Because I don't think what it is for them is not, yeah, it's nice to be beneficial, it's fine. But is it beneficial for everyone? Is it beneficial for Bitcoin? Is it beneficial for cryptocurrency? Is it beneficial to this new economic system that's, based on a decentralized concept, a distributed concept, a concept where nobody is in control? No one single entity has the power. So that's it. That's me, Hiroja Shibe, with a walk and talk about cryptocurrency. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share, and comment down below. To the moon.